welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to do a really quick and easy recipe. It is starting to warm up, but it's still pretty cold where I am, so I'm still craving those comfort meals. I'm still craving things like soup and stews, that kind of thing. So this is a really easy recipe. It's going to be a tomato soup, and we're going to add some chickpeas to it. It's going to be delicious. It's become one of my staple meals lately. It's just really easy to whip up, and you know how I am, I like those quick and easy meals, and I also want something that's going to be very filling. So this one actually fits the bill. This is a soup that will keep your belly full and you will feel energized. It's delicious. So as always, you don't need a lot of ingredients for this recipe. You just need some tomatoes, and so I use two different types of tomatoes just to show you that you can use both. I do have a fire roasted tomato. If you can find that, then you're just going to enhance that flavor of the soup. So if you can find it, then go for that. But if you can't, it's perfectly fine to use just canned tomatoes, and the ones that I had weren't even like chopped up. So I just kind of mashed it. You'll see that I'm using the masher, and it's totally doable. Anybody can make this soup. No matter. Okay guys, so let's get into it. These are the items that you will need to make the soup. Super easy, very simple. I just have diced fire roasted tomatoes, I have whole tomatoes, and I have a can of chickpeas. You can also use just chopped up tomatoes. I just happen to have the whole tomatoes and it works really well, so I'm just going to use that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. You're just going to toss that into a nice big soup pot, and then you're going to also add in your water. So if you are using all chopped tomatoes, then you don't need to smash your tomatoes down like you're going to see that I have to do. So I'm just going to use a potato masher, and I'm just going to cut those tomatoes down just a little. So these are the seasonings that I'll be using: garlic powder, I have dry oregano, and I have onion powder. And then I'm also going to be adding umami. I think that's how you say it, umami. It's a mushroom seasoning. And then some black pepper, which I didn't show, but I did add black pepper. So as far as salt goes, I only add a little bit of salt to my bowl when I am serving it, or sometimes I just leave it out completely. So I'm not adding salt in the recipe itself, but it's up to you if you want to add it in. So I'll have the whole description of the whole recipe and the amounts that I use, but again, remember, everyone is different. You may want to add more seasoning or less seasoning than I do. It's totally up to you. Another thing that's optional is I don't always use bouillon. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's not necessary, because honestly, I feel like there's enough seasonings in it, but if you feel like you need even more seasoning, then go ahead and add that bouillon. The only thing I would say is just make sure that it's oil-free. Make sure that all your tomatoes are oil-free, and that way you can keep your calorie density down and your soup won't be so heavy in calories. So it's those little things that matter. So you just want to keep an eye on what exactly is in it and what all the ingredients are. So just make sure you read those labels. So here is the umami seasoning. So I find that I don't add any salt because I feel like this is a little salty, and I'm not going to add any additional salt, like I said, to mine, but again, up to you if you want to. So I just sprinkle a little bit. I didn't really measure it. I don't think it's even a teaspoon that I put in, but I will add it into the overall ingredient list, and then you put in what you want. If you don't have it, again, don't stress, don't put it in. I've made it without adding that and it turns out perfectly fine. But if you can find it, then yeah, add it, and it will add another depth of flavor. So I'm going ahead and adding some fresh basil just because I have some on the windowsill. You can add dry if you want to. I do it with dry and it works out perfectly. So now I'm just going to add the lid and I'm going to cook it for 15 to 20 minutes, cover it up, and then you can go ahead and add in your chickpeas and keep the lid off once you add the chickpeas. Just cook it for another 5 to 10 minutes and that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and serve your soup. So keep in mind, I like my soup on the chunky side. I like it like a country tomato soup. If you want it nice and pureed, go ahead and add in your soup to your blender or use your immersion blender and get it nice and creamy in that consistency before you add the chickpeas. And that way you still have your chickpeas showing through and you have that added texture. So I like it completely chunky like this. This is my preference. This is how we eat it, but you decide how you want to do it. You can definitely customize this soup to your liking. And this is pretty much it. Super, super simple and very, very healthy and hearty. So if you wanted to jazz up your soup, if you're serving it for somebody, you could also add a little bit of extra basil on top just to garnish it, make it look pretty, and add a little pop of color. You could also add some cashew cream if you wanted to, a little drizzle on top if you are not concerned about adding more calories to your soup. Completely up to you. I eat it just like this, but you could definitely do that as well. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this week's recipe. I hope that you make it. Let me know how it works out for you and if you enjoy it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. That way you don't miss any upcoming content and easy recipes and wellness ideas. So thanks again for being here. Thanks again for all the support and love and for the wonderful comments. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing and I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Take care everyone and I'll see you in the next video.